this week's RCOS, you may have seen I was supposed to present on a project called Chronicle. That was what I was working on last semester. I'm not doing any of that in these slides, but I'll explain what happened to that project. I was working on it with my roommate. He was supposed to be working on the PC client side, whereas I was working on the Android side. And then together we were supposed to work on how to network them together and figure out how to send these huge files over from your phone to your computer automatically. I am not experienced with networking at all. I did pretty badly on the socket for Richmond's class. So when the summer started, I tried working on Chronicle, doing the networking part. I first incorporated a TCP IP connection and realized that that can't send large files at all. I can only send a 1 kilobyte file across at a time. And the TCP IP does not accept chunking, which is necessary for sending these 5 gigabyte files. I found an application that'll turn your phone into an FTP server so that you can then pull files off it from your computer. And I tried working on incorporating that into the Chronicle project, but I kind of just lost steam and enthusiasm after a while because I don't know what I'm doing with the networking at all. Hopefully next semester, once my roommate gets back, he can help me out on that and we'll continue the Chronicle project. For this summer, I'm working on SAGE, Senate Address Geocoding Engine. It's continuing work for the New York State Senate. They've had a lot of RPI students, both through RCOS and through the capstone program, working on this project. The basis of the project is that it takes, there's a front end which takes inputs of any sort of address. You can use just parts of the address or just a zip code even, and it'll tell you who's representing the district that you currently live in, the address that you're putting in. So in our situation, we've got Roy J. McDonald representing the RPI area, and it gives his email, the congressional district you're in, the electoral district you're in, as well as the latitude and longitude. The geocoding part of this project is to figure out the latitude and longitude addresses that you put into the engine. This already exists, by the way. This was written by an intern in 2010, I think. There's a back end which is composed of 3 parts. The first is an address parser / fixer. You can type in an address and it'll find misspelled addresses and try to match your typed address to the most accurate address possible in New York. This is done using USPS services as well as Google, Bing, and Yahoo. And all these services cost money for this engine to run. The second part of the engine takes the latitude and longitude returned by the services previously mentioned and it takes the proper address returned by the previous service and then finds the latitude and longitude for them. This is done through also Bing, Yahoo, and Google. We provide APIs that make this fairly easy to do, but it still costs money. And then the third part then takes these latitude and longitudes and compares them to shape files and these shape files correspond to districts. So then you can find which district that the latitude and longitude belongs to. A shape file is a file that consists of many points consistent of many shapes. So then you can have one shape that represents a district that is laid out by multiple points, and then the next shape next to it lays out another district, and then one below it lays out another district using multiple points. My work on this project involves taking a project built in 2006 called the JGeocoder, it's written in Java. It takes in 2000, it was built in 2008. It uses 2006 census data called the tiger line shapefile. publishes this data every year. It provides information on like latitude and longitude of every address, ranges of addresses on the street, as well as anything related to your street. So length of the street, zip code, offset from like the edge of the state, lots of random information. After 2006, they changed the formatting of this data so that the old JGeocoder code does not work anymore with current data. So my job will be to update this code and make it work on the 2011 census data so that we can have up-to-date information for free, as opposed to having to ask Google or Bing or Yahoo to do this for a cost. And the TIGER stands for Topologically Integrated Geographic Encoding and Referencing Models. After I update this code, I'll have to integrate it with the geocoder server that the New York State Senate currently maintains. They also have some other projects built by interns in the past, including an address parser fixer, so that we could get that sort of information for free as well without having to ask USPS or the other free search engines. But once again, costing money. That is the crux of my project. I want to thank everybody. Special thanks to Jay Liang, who's the one who originally built the JGeocoder project. He's a graduate from Drexel University. Thanks to Graylin Kim and Ken Sorry, Ken. They're my mentors at the New York State Senate. Dorothy, Shauna Sullivan for funding this, and all of you for listening to my presentation.
Question. I do have one question about the accuracy of doing all those steps. What kind of error cases do you see?
The shape files that the Senate provides are extremely precise with their longitude coordinates. So as long as you have the coordinates within like 6 decimal points, you have the street precision.
So there's really no errors or anything?
Not that I've seen thus far. The 2008 JGeocoder, the one that hadn't updated yet, had a few outlier cases, but I've yet to deal with those. I feel like it's very minimal. The census does provide extremely precise information.
I just had sort of a comment. I think this whole project is going to be useful for. Recently, there's been some controversy about like redistricting, like people and like changing the borders of these congressional districts. So, like, is that something you're looking at as like a potential application of this?
Yeah, I believe the redistricting already happened. So. Yeah, since 2006, the format of the census data has been the same. Before 2006 and before, the shape files could only contain 10 points, whereas now the most I've seen it contain per shape is 238. So in the future, you'll just be able to import data as long as they don't change it again. You'll have up-to-date information. Cool. Thanks, guys.